What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Now, I'm testing out some new editing and audio and video stuff. If nothing changed, that's good. Hopefully there's a couple better changes in this because I'm trying out some new things. But anyways, I just wanted to give you that heads up just in case something gets messed up here. But today we're going to be looking at the 2019 UFA class for the NHL. Now, this could completely change. The time I'm recording this video is July of 2018. You could be watching this at a far different date, and some of these guys could have been signed or traded or whatever by now. So I'm just looking at it right now, July 2018, who the guys will be, which guys will be available next season in 2019, next off season. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. We're so close to 3,000 subscribers. Help me get there. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers as well. There's been a lot of new people coming onto the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for believing in the content. But I thought I would discuss the goaltenders first, and the first guy I'm going to discuss is Sergei Bobrovsky. Now, he is one of the goalies that's slated to become a UFA after this upcoming season. So we all know he's one of the better goaltenders in the entire league, and the Columbus Blue Jackets are a team that are still very good. Of course, they've got some rumors going on with Panarin at this point, and they've got a really good team. I would expect Bobrovsky to get an offer from the Blue Jackets. I would expect that he would want to stay there as well. Because unless he gets an offer, well, let's just say he does test free agency, alright? So we're going to assume that maybe he tests free agency. There's probably going to be a lot of teams with a lot of cap space that might not be in the same position that the Blue Jackets are in, where there's actually some really good young talent there that's growing. They have a team that is, you know, pretty much a playoff team at this point, and we can only assume they're going to be pretty good this year. So he's not going to have the best options in my eyes. I think that he's a goalie that could stay in Columbus and continue to succeed. Obviously, we know he's had a great track record last season. He had some pretty good numbers in the regular season, not the best numbers in the playoffs. He wasn't his best, but looking at his numbers from before, you do realize, like I said, that he does have a good track record. He's probably still going to put up really good numbers, probably just over 2 goals against per game. Nothing too crazy. He's obviously put up these numbers before. He's been very good. Probably between, like, his save percentage will be like, you know, .921 to 30. Like, he's gonna have pretty good numbers, and I would expect that he would probably be a guy that could stay in Columbus. And again, this is really early predictions and stuff like that, but I'm just doing it for fun. It is the off season. If you guys have more recommendations, let me know. But I think that Bobrovsky being one of the goalies available would be surprising if Columbus let him get that far to begin with. I would imagine they're probably going to try to lock him up before he becomes a free agent. Next up for goaltenders is Varlamov from the Avalanche. Now, he's a very good goaltender that's been hit with some injury trouble. Now, he's probably not the same caliber as Bobrovsky, but Varlamov is a very serviceable goaltender. He will be able to start a lot of games for you if he's healthy. He'll be able to stop a lot of pucks. He's made some amazing saves. He's a very, very quick goaltender in my eyes. I think a lot of people would agree with that opinion. And he's a goalie that will get paid if he does hit the open market. Now, with Colorado actually being a decent team and looking like they're going to take another step and be at least a decent to good team next season, and going forward, hopefully adding more pieces to that team to play with a guy like McKinnon, of course. I mean, I can't see him wanting to leave unless the Avalanche see that they've got another plan to bring in another goaltender that would play more than him, be maybe a little healthier than him. I'm hoping that they give him an opportunity when, you know, he's probably working with medical staff and making sure all of his injuries and stuff is put behind him to make sure he is healthy for this upcoming season and seasons beyond that. He's a good goaltender, and goalies do not come cheap, and let's be honest here, it's really tough to draft a goaltender because it's hard to judge. You know, a lot of teams don't take risks by drafting goalies really high. Of course, Carey Price probably, I could be missing somebody, but Carey Price has got to be one of the higher picked goaltenders ever, and, you know, it worked out for now, I guess. But it's hard to get new goaltenders and draft them and make sure that they're, you know, growing properly, and you can't really tell how good they're going to be for a lot of them. Some of them you can tell, but for a lot of them you can't. And I think that the Avalanche and most teams would be like, okay, listen, we can't let our really good goaltender hit the open market, because if we lose him, I mean, we have other options, but they're not as good as Varlamov. Like, I'm pretty sure that he would probably be a better option than a lot of goaltenders. I mean, if they went to free agency and, you know, got Bobrovsky, I mean, then that's different, but that's a huge risk. So I would imagine he will probably get a little overpaid and stay with the Avalanche. All right, let's move over to the defensemen, and the first guy I'm going to talk about is Nate Schmidt from the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I'm pretty sure the Vegas Golden Knights would like to lock up a lot of the players that they, you know, that have had good seasons, and Schmidt obviously proved that he was a pretty serviceable defenseman this past season. They've lost a couple bodies already, and we do know that Vegas does have the money to at least re-up a lot of their guys that they have. And I think Schmidt is a guy that you have to be a little careful with. Now, by the way, I got this article from The Score looking at these guys, because I wasn't sure what I was going to make a video about. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't do that. I was thinking of what I could make a video about, and this popped up, and Schmidt was one of the first guys I was like, okay, I could actually talk about this and give an opinion on why free agency can be a little tricky. And Schmidt is a guy that you would probably put into that, you know, is he going to produce or is he going to kind of fall off type of thing? Because a lot of players on Vegas overproduced. Okay, let's be real here. A lot of them played a lot better than people expected. Schmidt is probably one of those guys that, you know, put up minutes that people didn't think, you know, he could. When he was in Washington, he was a decent defenseman, but he was pretty good with Vegas. So teams might want to overpay for him if he does have another decent season and they go, okay, well, look at the last couple of years, he's been pretty good. If he falls off a little bit with a new team, or if he stays with Vegas and he falls off, then it's not a great risk. But again, it's a risk. You sometimes have to take those. With Schmidt, I feel like if he gets overpaid by a new team and he fails, it's going to look really bad. If he gets overpaid by Vegas, the Vegas fans will probably be like, okay, well, he was pretty good for us for a couple years. You know, we like to keep him around. He was one of the players on the first season of the Vegas Golden Knights. So there might be that little bit of protection with your own team. But hopefully he does produce, and I'm just, you know, talking, and he actually does keep producing and showing that he is a pretty good defenseman, because a lot of players did get a shot with Vegas this year that probably wouldn't have. So hopefully he gets paid what he wants. Again, this is for next summer, so I have to, you know, think how they might play this season when I'm making this video, and that's very tough to do because I can't tell the future, but I think that he'll probably get a little overpaid. The next one up is Ryan Ellis. Now, this is a guy that's going to get paid. His cap hit was formerly $2.5 million. Well, for this upcoming season, that's what he's going to be getting paid. He's going to get a massive raise. He's a great defenseman. He has the tools to provide you with great top 4, top 2 pairing minutes, and, you know, it's going to be quality ice time. And the thing is with Nashville is they're probably going to make cap space to keep him around. Nashville has arguably the best D-core in the entire league. I would argue that, like, they do. I'm a very big fan of the way that they've crafted their team. I'm the type of guy, and it's funny because I'm a Leafs fan. Most of you guys know that. I'm the type of guy, like, I know this sounds really silly, but, like, if I was a GM in a video game, or if I was a GM in real life, I would really like to build my team with a goaltender and a lot of good defensemen. Now, I know my team doesn't do that. Like, my team, the Leafs aren't my team, like I own them, but the team that I love, the Toronto Maple Leafs, they have a bunch of offense, whereas Nashville has made their team full of really good defensive guys. And Ellis is, you know, one of those guys that can produce offensively but give you stability on the defensive end as well, because of, you know, how everybody meshes together on that blue line. So Ellis is going to get paid, and I would imagine Nashville is going to be the team that re-signs him. I think he would want to stay there. Again, a lot of these teams and a lot of these guys that are going to be made available are guys that are on winning teams, or at least teams that are, you know, going to be good. But Nashville, they're just cup contenders, so Ellis would probably want to stay. The next person that I know very well by watching him all the time is Jake Gardiner. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, he won't get paid, he's not good defensively, this, that, and the other. I've made a video about Jake Gardiner. If you want to watch it, he's a little underrated when it comes to his game as a whole, and he's going to get paid. Now, he's not the best defensive defenseman. We all know that, okay? There are some advanced statistics and analytics and stuff like that that show that he's not as awful as people say he is. But when it comes to offense, Jake Gardiner is going to put up 50 points for you. He's a great he's a great offensive defenseman. He's going to be on your power play. And here's the thing. I'd love for the Toronto Maple Leafs to hold on to him, but the cap is going to get a little bit tight when Jake Gardiner becomes a free agent. And the thing is the Leafs have some younger defensemen that can probably come up and at least fill a spot. They won't be able to put up his offensive production right away, or ever, really. They might be better defensively, which would obviously be good as well. But Jake Gardiner, if he does leave the Leafs after this upcoming season, it will kind of suck. I do like the guy. I think he puts up a lot of offense, and if you look at how much Matt Dumba was just paid, Jake Gardiner is going to make a lot of money, okay? So the Toronto Maple Leafs might get a discount if he does want to stay, but if he hits the open market, he's going to get a lot of money. The next guy up is Tyler Myers. Now, this is kind of the same situation as the Toronto Maple Leafs. With the amount of players that Winnipeg is going to have to deal with when it comes to their contracts very soon, Tyler Myers is a guy, he's a big dude, he's a right-handed shot who can put up like, you know, between 30, 35 points, 25 points, something like that, but he's a big guy, and again, that right-handed shot comes in handy. So Winnipeg might be losing out on him, and a lot of teams are going to line up to give him the money that he wants. Now, I would hope that Winnipeg would at least make a, you know, not a pitch, but like make some room and show him that he is part of their long-term future. But if it's just not doable, he's going to hit the open market and probably get paid quite a bit. And again, like I said, he's got a lot going for him. He's a big defenseman. He's like 6'4", something like that. He will put up some decent points. He will be, you know, a good solid top 4 piece for you. And I mean, just his all-around game works for pretty much any team that is in need for a defenseman. And I mean, frankly, even if you're not in need for a defenseman and you can get a guy like Myers, you're going to do it. So watch out for him if he hits the open market, because he will get quite a bit of money, and it's probably well deserved. Of course, when it comes to defense, this guy is left last for a reason. Erik Karlsson is going to be the biggest name made available. If he is available. Apparently he wants to stay in Ottawa. This is if there's new management. If that's not changed, then maybe he will hit the open market, or, you know, if he gets traded somewhere, maybe he re-signs there. But if I was to take a shot, he probably will hit free agency regardless of if he gets traded or not. He will be able to sit there and see what teams are going to say to him, which teams are coming to him and saying, listen, look at what you can have money-wise, look at the team around you that you could have. So I'm pretty sure that Erik Karlsson's probably going to hit that free agent market, get a ton of money. He's going to get paid like crazy. Look at how Doughty just got paid. Karlsson's going to get that. He puts up a ton of points. He's not the best defensively, but he will come in, lead your team, put up a ton of points, and it could take a good team to be a Stanley Cup contender if you bring in Erik Karlsson. I don't think I have to say very much because he's just that good. All right, so there's a couple guys here, 2 or 3 guys that I'm going to do pretty quickly because we are at the forward point now of the free agents that could be available in 2019. So the first one is Wayne Simmonds, who of course is on a pretty team-friendly deal. He puts up a lot of points. He's a tougher type of player, and he's had a bit of a rough patch in his career currently, but he's going to be a guy that is going to help your team no matter what, if it's in a depth role or if it's in a top 6 role, which I feel like he fits in probably a little better, even though I think the Flyers might have him on like a 3rd line type of thing this year. So he's probably going to be a guy that I'd be interested in if I was a team that's looking for just another gritty type of scorer that will get it done for you pretty much every single night, even though he has hit a bit of a rough patch. The next one is Jordan Eberle. Now, the New York Islanders are going through a different type of, I guess, rebuild. It could be a retooling. They brought in a lot of bad contracts, in my opinion, but they're also building with a couple really good pieces as well. Keeping Eberle around with the amount of cap space that they do have, which it's not a crazy amount, but they do have enough where maybe they say to Eberle, listen, we want to keep building this team. You're a pretty decent scorer. They're not going to say pretty decent to him. They're going to say you're a good scorer, and we want to keep you around. And they might overpay a little bit because they want to keep fans happy. Maybe fans are like, hey, we don't want to get rid of all these fan favorites. Like, Eberle's come in and done a decent job for us. It would suck. And I know emotions shouldn't come into a decision like this, but with the amount of emotions that's been going on with Islanders fans lately, maybe keeping Eberle around is something that the Islanders will look at, because Eberle is a good player, but he's probably going to get overpaid a little bit. The next one up is Matt Duchene, and I have no idea what's going to happen with Matt Duchene. Do I think he's going to get a raise? Probably not. I don't think he's going to make much more than he already is, which is like $6 million per season. I can't see him making more than that in my eyes. I think Duchene proved towards the end of the season with the Senators that he can put up points. Whether or not he stays with the Senators is beyond me. They could have quite a bit of cap if everybody starts to leave and not want to re-sign with them, unless he gets traded, if teams are interested in him, if he has a pretty good first half of the season this year, which it could happen. And I mean, this is one of the guys I have no idea what's going to happen. If Duchene does pick it up, like I said, this year, I'm not sure how he does, but he will get probably a 3 or 4 year deal maybe with some team that wants more secondary scoring, because that's what he is. He isn't a number one scoring option. So if you bring in Duchene as like a second or third tier type of player, he's probably going to be a good fit with your team. You probably just don't want to overpay. And the next guy is Max Pacioretty. Now, again, I'm not a huge Habs fan, but I do feel bad for their fans, and it kind of sucks to see Pacioretty leave that team, because he's going to get either traded or, in the offseason he's going to leave no matter what after the season, but it's being pretty much said that Pacioretty's more than likely going to get dealt before the season starts. But like I said, regardless, he's probably leaving. Montreal is going through a really, really rough time right now with their team, in my eyes. I think a lot of people are thinking that they're rebuilding a little bit, but when you have a guy like Carey Price, you have guys like Pacioretty on that team, and now Domi, who's a secondary or third type of scorer, and you have a guy like Drouin and stuff like that. This team, it's just really weird, because I feel like if they add good players, and of course they have Shea Weber on the back end if he's healthy, but if you add to this team, they probably would be decent. But now they're just picking pieces apart and they don't know what they're doing. He's bringing in a bunch of Bergevin's bringing in bottom six talent to fill in their top nine, their top six, and that's not going to work. So I don't know what's going to happen with Pacioretty when it comes to who he'll sign with, but all I know is he's probably going to hit that free agent market, and maybe, a team like Dallas or somebody like that will be interested. The next guy's been talked about a lot on my channel. I've taken a lot of flack for it because people seem to think I think he's going to be with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said I was making a video on why there was a slight chance. I said completely in the video, he's not going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. These rumors do not have any leverage. There's no oh my god, it could happen. Panarin's not coming to the Leafs, okay? Let me just say that first. Elliot Friedman said maybe the Leafs would be interested and maybe the Sharks would be interested. I made the video because I was asked to do it. So if you've watched that video and complained about it, that is why I made the video. But Panarin, I really liked him with Columbus, and I still do, and I really hope that this situation works out and he sticks around with the Blue Jackets. Panarin is going to be a guy that just gets paid a ton of money, okay? Let's be real here. Panarin is going to get a ton of money because he is a scorer. He's proved that he can score with elite talent and with, decent and good players. He can do it, okay? And he's young, relatively young. So he's going to get a lot of money for not only his scoring touch, but the fact that he is not an older type of player. An older guy. He's probably in his prime right now. He's ready to take maybe another step or stick around where he is right now, which is almost an over a point per game type of player. And I would expect him to do good things wherever he ends up, but I would hope he would stay with Columbus. Next up is Blake Wheeler from the Winnipeg Jets. This guy, oh man, I love Blake Wheeler. If he hits the open market, teams are going to be lining up, and again, I'll bring it up. Winnipeg is probably going to be in a little bit of a cap crunch. They might have a little trouble holding on to their core. I would imagine, I can't see them getting rid of Wheeler. I can't see them being well, we can't afford him. They would probably make moves to ensure that Wheeler sticks around with this team, because he has to. He is one of the better players in the NHL. I think he had 91 points this past season. and he's a machine. The guy deserves to play on a good team in my eyes, and I think that Wheeler sticking around with Winnipeg would be the best option. I think that I don't even want to talk too much about him going anywhere else, and I'm not even a Jets fan. I love that fit. I think that Winnipeg will do everything in its power to hold on to him, and it's got to happen. And the last name I'm going to talk about is Tyler Seguin, one of the better scorers in the entire NHL, a great player on and off the ice, or a great guy on and off the ice. He puts up points, he's a leader, and Dallas needs to hold on to him. He's been on one of the better contracts in the NHL, and he is going to get a significant raise if he does hit the open market or if Dallas re-signs him. No matter what, he's going to get his money. My only worry about the Dallas Stars, and Dallas Stars fans might be able to agree with this, is that if the Stars really are not making any more moves to get better, which I know they have been trying, but if they don't make a significant move to get themselves into a playoff position or to a contending position, Seguin might be like, well, I have options with teams that I could take them over the top, or they already are close to the top, and I can make them even better and go after another Stanley Cup, because he has a Stanley Cup with the Bruins. But, you know, just because he has one doesn't mean he's going to be like, oh, whatever, I don't need another one. I think that he loves Dallas. I think that he wants to stay there. But for him, it's got to be, listen, I got to win soon. I got to win again. So hopefully you guys like this video. Again, I just wanted to end with Seguin there because I think that he's one of the more interesting pieces that could be available, and I think that he's probably the best forward in my eyes available with Wheeler. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.